boundaries evolve, they flex, they breathe with us on our journey, and they become conduits, bridges for self-love and respect and meaningful connections. So as you're navigating your everyday life, please remember the empowering truth that in the pause, clarity reigns, boundaries thrive, and our existence becomes a symphony of authenticity and fulfillment. Whether you want to admit it or not, an intentional pause is your secret weapon. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Power in the Pause podcast. How are you guys doing today? As a reminder, please do not forget to hit subscribe, and it would mean the absolute world to me if you would please give me a 5-star review and also give me a written word down below. It would be just so helpful in reaching more people with this podcast, and I appreciate you so much for supporting me and doing that. So today's episode, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about how it is that you get to embrace boundaries through the power of the pause. And what I want to talk to you guys about today is really how it is that we are able to uncover extraordinary clarity when we embrace the power of the pause. And as we navigate and dance in our everyday lives, boundaries play a very crucial role in shaping our relationships, fostering authenticity, and safeguarding our own well-being. And as we are all continuously embarking on a journey of self-discovery, what I am asking you to explore today with me is how intentional pauses become the catalysts for understanding, articulating, and upholding your boundaries. And for those of you who know me and know me well, you know that I love a good definition. And I want to make sure that we're all on the same page when I talk about the word boundary. And to me, what a boundary is it's a rule, it's a guideline, there are limitations that we convey and establish based on maintaining our own well-being. And boundaries are intended to protect us. They are not meant to hurt anybody else. And they are what I believe are the foundation for shaping our interactions, for shaping our relationships, and honestly, for maintaining our overall well-being. And I don't know about you guys, but we all live in the hustle and bustle of real life, and we often find ourselves navigating what I call, kind of the hamster wheel of life without a clear understanding of what our boundaries are. And that's why I believe that the power in the pause is so incredibly important in these moments where we are feeling when somebody is crossing over and, essentially not honoring one of our boundaries. And ultimately, what that reflects is the need for us to uphold and articulate what our boundaries are. And so the pause is really what is going to allow you to see what it is that is being triggered within you, to understand why you feel like you are being pushed outside of your comfort zone, and for you to be able to really define the line in the sand where your authenticity and your truest self lives, for you to be able to communicate with the other person or in a situation. Now, please remember, okay, boundaries are not meant to keep people out. They actually are what are going to bring people closer to you. It's what's going to connect you deeply. So don't think of boundaries as constraints. I actually believe that boundaries are almost like a fertile ground, right? Where self-respect and authenticity and meaningful connections are able to thrive and flourish. And boundaries are really affirmations of our needs. They are the guardians of our well-being. They are the architects of a life. They're really the blueprints that the architect, us, creates that align with our values. And when we have well-defined boundaries, we're actually able to feel free to express ourselves authentically. We have the courage to say yes when it resonates and the strength to say no when it doesn't and when it's necessary. And boundaries, when they are nurtured through that lens of clarity, they become the pillars that support the architecture of your purposeful and fulfilling existence. So the pause, the reason why the pause is so incredibly important in boundary creation is because it acts as almost like an alchemist, where it enables you to transform that trigger, that chaos, into peace, into clarity, into calm, and even uncertainty into understanding. And as we allow ourselves what I call the grace of the pause, we unlock the wisdom to discern where our boundaries actually exist. And it's in this intentional pause that we find the courage to acknowledge our needs, the insight to recognize what is going to serve us in our highest and best, and then mindfulness to communicate our limits, our boundaries with grace, with respect, and with kindness. And so through the power of the pause, we can see more clearly that boundaries are not these rigid walls. What they are flexible expressions of self-love and self-respect. And I know that so many of us get nervous about implementing and really upholding our boundaries, especially as we're navigating different relationships with people in our life. And boundaries really become these invisible threads that tie us together with the people in our life, that weave together respect and understanding and empathy into the fabric of our connections. And it's really through the clarity that you receive in those moments of pause that you're able to really see and envision your relationships through a clearer lens of authenticity. And so instead of seeing boundaries as walls in relationships, really what they are bridges that connect, that foster relationships that are built on mutual understanding, communication, and even shared and respected values. And so what I'm hoping you're hearing me say is that there's beauty in creating boundaries, that it is important for each and every one of you to create a boundary-centric life. And here's the thing, okay? Boundaries are not something that are always set in stone because they evolve as we grow and change. There's boundaries that I had 7 years ago that I don't even have anymore. There's boundaries I had 2 years ago that have now evolved and look very different. And so in the spirit of continuous self-discovery, I invite you to be open to the journey of creating and adapting your boundaries that align with your evolving self. And the way that you're able to do that is through the pause. So through the empowering action of the pause, what we're able to do is really sculpt this beautiful life where boundaries are invitations for you to live authentically, to live wholeheartedly, and to navigate the world around you with resilience and purpose. And so as we embrace the power of the pause, we step into a rhythm of a boundary-centric life where clarity is our compass, where authenticity is our guide and fulfillment. Feeling fulfilled is your destination. So through this transformative lens of the pause, I hope that you've heard me say that boundaries evolve, they flex, they breathe with us on our journey, and they become conduits, bridges for self-love and respect and meaningful connections. So as you're navigating your everyday life, please remember the empowering truth that in the pause, clarity reigns, boundaries thrive, and our existence becomes a symphony of authenticity and fulfillment. Whether you want to admit it or not, an intentional pause is your secret weapon. It is your secret weapon to create and maintain boundaries that honor the essence of who you are. They are the compass to guide you towards a life filled with purpose and connection and joy. So I invite you to please embrace the wisdom within the pause. Set your boundaries from your heart and with intention. And do me a favor, pay attention and watch as your life transforms into a masterpiece of authenticity and fulfillment. Oh, do you feel that? It's so empowering. So what I wish from you after listening to this episode is this. I wish that your boundaries be clear, your pauses be purposeful, and your journey be profoundly empowering along the way. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this week's episode. I hope that you found inspiration in my words today. What boundaries are you going to go out there and set for yourself? If you're somebody who needs support in setting boundaries, please feel free to contact me on Instagram, DM me boundary, and I will send you an amazing resource that will enable you to start setting boundaries today easily. They don't have to be hard, and I've got your back. So remember, the power in the pause has the ability to help you uncover the boundaries that you get to set with those people in your life so that you not only foster connection in your relationships, but you are operating from the lens of authenticity. So thank you guys again for tuning in. Don't forget to follow me on social media. My social media handle is Wendy Paige Sterling. Sending you all so much love and light as always. Mwah. Bye, everybody.